Welcome back everyone to my Let's Play of Final Fantasy II for the Wii Virtual Console. Last episode, Rupes and Georgie visited Capo, and we're trying to go through the Northeast Waterway, but an old man there prevented them from going forward. So in order to go forward, we have to go back to Capo here. We could do this the first time we were in Capo, but I wanted to seal that dialogue off with the old guy there blocking us. But we have to go to the northeast house here, and we're going to trigger the progression event that will allow that old man to let us through, and actually he's going to join our party. That old guy is actually Tella, who we learned about. His daughter eloped with a bard and ran off with him because he did not consent to her marrying him. So his daughter was Anna. We don't know who the bard is, but speaking of bards, though, we do know that like the bard of this, that the king of this area, Damson, he sings beautifully like a bard. So maybe, I don't know. Well, here's Rosa, who will eventually be Lily in this playthrough, and she is sick. She's the girl from Bound who kept falling down. We were told about. So yeah, we go to this house and we learn about her and her illness that she got. Apparently she has something called desert fever, and this guy's going to let us know that we need sand ruby to cure the fever. It's in the lair of the monster called the antlion. The best cure for it is the sand ruby. We learned a little bit earlier that the sand ruby, it's that the lair of the antlion can only be accessed by royalty of Damson. So now, Rupes has a reason to go to Damson, to find the royalty there, to let them open up the cave to the antlion so we can get the sand ruby to cure Rosa, aka Lily, there. So now that we have a purpose to go to Damson, Tella here, the old man, will let us through this underwater passageway, which is a really neat dungeon. I always like this dungeon. Once again, I was saying the comparison to Dragon Warrior 4. Like at the beginning there we just had Rupes and Jarvis, who were just straight melee fighters attacking. It's like Dragon Warrior 4 Chapter 1, where you just had Ragnar, the royal soldier, who just was a straight up attacker. Now it's like Chapter 2, where we had Princess Alina, the attacker, and then we had like two support mages, Christo and Bray. Well, we're about to get Tella here, and he is a magic caster just like Georgie. Unlike Georgie though, Tella is sufficiently leveled up. He's quite powerful. He's level 20. So he's going to have a lot of hit points, a lot of spell points. He has so many hit points you can probably put him in the front row, but being a mage, you want to keep him in the back row because mainly he's going to be using his magic to attack things. So he's the one who confirms that he is Tella, and that his daughter ran away to Damson. He wanted to go there himself to find his daughter, but there's a big 8-tentacled monster in the way, and his magic is not enough to defeat it on his own. So he's like, hey, join me and help me, because your dark sword should be able to help. And he also recognizes Georgie's potential as a magician. So Tella is a sage. He can cast both white and black magic, but he doesn't have a lot of spells. We're going to basically learn that because of his old age, he forgot most of the spells. He will eventually gain a lot of spells later on, but he'll never gain more magic points. So he'll never get more than 90 magic points, which is kind of a shame, because the spells that he's going to get later on are going to be really, really powerful and MP intense. But yeah, there's a glitch to get him a lot of magic points, but I'll show that off when the time's appropriate. But for now, he has more than enough magic points. Don't worry about using up all of Georgie and Tella's magic points, because halfway through this dungeon we're going to get a save point, and Tella's going to explain the save point, what they do, and he's going to use his own tent, so we don't even have to use the tent to heal up there. So we'll just get restored hit points and magic points restored. Tents, just like an inn, they restore your hit points and your magic points. They don't restore all your hit points and all your magic points. Eventually we're going to have to buy cabins, which do that. So it's kind of like Final Fantasy 1, where there was tents, cabins, and then houses. Caverns restore 100%. But for right now, in the early game, your hit points and magic points are low enough that a tent will restore 100% of them. It's just that when you get later in like the quadruple-digit hit points and triple-digit magic points, that things can get a tent ain't enough. So here you have most of the enemies in here are weak to lightning. So we have the water bug there in the back. The interesting thing about him is he has a lot of hit points and he gives a lot of experience compared to most other enemies. However, if you hit him and don't defeat him with magic, he will use a spell called Remedy, which basically heals himself with the hit points, and after a while he'll run away, so he's kind of like a metal slime in Dragon Warrior 1. And so what you want to do is you want to use the hold spell, the white magic hold spell on it, and then that way, if you do hit it with magic, it's not going to use that remedy and run away. So, yeah, this is a neat dungeon because, like I said, you're learning. It shows about the importance of rows, because you're going to want to put Tella and Georgie in the back row, because they're weak mages, so you learn the importance of the row system. You learn the importance of elemental weaknesses, because without the lightning spell, most of these enemies can be pretty tough. But with the lightning spell, you know, Tella and Georgie can almost one-round most battles. And then there's also enemies, the cave toads that are going to be weak to ice, zombies that are weak to fire, so you kind of get a mix of all different types of monsters. Basically learn the importance of, like I said, the elemental weaknesses, and you also learn about like status spells, so the importance of stuff like hold and sleep. Otherwise you're not going to be able to defeat some of those monsters like the water bugs there without them running away. So, and then plus you learn here about the importance of you know, tents and what they do, what these save points are. So we get a little cutscene here where Rupes and Tella talk. Fast asleep. She must have been very tired. You said she was a caller from Mist. She seems very gifted as a magic user. With proper training, she'll be able to use magic other than calling monsters. How sweet, just like Anna's childhood. Anna is my only daughter. She ran away to Damsing with a bard because they did not consent to their marriage. What do you want to go to Damsine for? My friend is suffering from a terrible fever in Kaipo. So you need the sand ruby. So you too are in a hurry. What is the monster of this cavern? It's a terrifying monster with 8 huge tentacles. We must defeat it first to save Anna and your friend. So, luckily, we'll get another chance to rest up before we fight this monster. This is a multi-level dungeon. So, unlike the Cave of Mist, where it's just like one level. So that's another thing the game is teaching you here, that, you know, there's going to be, you know, some dungeons that have multiple parts in it. And it's important to, in those multiple parts, like, between them, to heal up and save. So we got a new weapon here, the Ice Rod. It's like the Rod, where that you can use it in battle, but instead of casting a generic spell like the Rod does for generic damage, Ice Rod will cast Ice 1. So we're going to give that to Georgie, and then we're going to transfer the Rod over to Tella. It's a little weaker in terms of attack power than the staff that Tella has, but Tella's not really using melee attacks anyway, so it's better just having to use the Rod. The staff's special ability, if you use it in battle, is it removes the poison status. So if somebody gets poisoned, you can use the staff on them, and it just removes the poison, so you don't have to worry about, you know, using a heal potion or the heal spell. Heal's actually pretty expensive in terms of MP. It's 20 MP to use. So, yeah, in the Japanese version of this game, you know, there was different items that for different things where, you know, they just have the universal heal spell. So, if you get turned into like a toad here, you have to use the heal spell. In like the Japanese version, you had like the toad spell that you could use black magic that you can use to turn your toads back into people. There was the maiden kiss item. So, but they kind of made it a little simpler here. So, and these guys are pretty tough. Not the water hags here. You can kill them off pretty easily with just one lit one. I haven't done that though, because if you hit the tiny mages in the back with magic, they will counter with the Sight Command. And the Sight Command steals MP off of your character, so it can be really deadly to Tella and Georgie, who rely on their MP to basically do a lot of damage. So I used the hold spell to stop all of them. So now they won't be able to use their psych. They're, like I said, they're frozen in place for a few rounds. And then we'll have to basically rely on Rupes' his sword to take care of these guys. As you can see, they're pretty strong against magical, whether it's from your regular spells or from your item type spells. Like the rod magic ain't gonna do a lot of damage to them. But yeah, oh, that guy's he recovered, so he used that psych, took away 17 of Tella's MP. But luckily, Tella, like I said, he has a lot of MP, so that just won't affect him too much. And like I said, we're gonna get another chance to heal before we fight the boss monster. So at this point, I'm not going to cast a hold on them again, because I'll just parry with Tella and Georgie and just have Rupes finish them off, finish the mages off with his sword. So we got some new weapons for our mages there. We'll also be getting a new weapon for Rupes then in a little bit. So it's very important that we pick up this weapon. Because the weapon will give us 10 more attack power, which is a lot. Because right now our attack power is 17. So, 10 points is, almost like a 50% increase. So, got some more armor there. The leather cap will go on to Georgie, because Georgie's going to be with our party for a while. Tella, unfortunately, is not going to be with us very long. So we can give him, like, the lesser equipment. Now, one thing you could do if you know when the characters are going to be leaving your party, like I knew that Jarvis was going to be leaving after this, I could have, like, de-equipped all his items, and then that way I can, like, sell them later, just for some money, but I'm not going to be really doing that. You don't really need to do that. So, but there might be one or two occasions where equipment will be good to like pass on. But for the most part, usually like when you get a replacement character, they're usually going to be, especially at the beginning of the game, they're going to be like of a different class because they're just trying to teach you all the different classes. So usually like equipment doesn't transfer well. Like the next character we're going to get ain't going to be able to really use Tella's not going to really bother using. So we have another new enemy, the Mad Toad. Like the Cave Toads in the back row there, they are weak to ice. If you don't defeat them in one hit though, which unfortunately I didn't do there, Tella rolled, I guess, a low roll on his ice spell there. They will counter magic with the Toad spell. So Georgie will eventually learn Toad, but in a few levels, that's something you can do. But for now, if you get turned into a Toad, you're just gonna have to use one of your heal potions. Luckily, several monsters in here do drop heal potions, so it ain't too bad if you get turned into a Toad. You should have more than enough heal potions to take care of it. Got some Ether ones there. They're good for restoring MP, which is good for our MP heavy party here. Oh, we're restoring all our MP with a tent outside here coming up. So the most important treasure chest is the one on that little half bridge there. You want to pick that up because that's the new sword for Rupes. So I just kept this battle in because you're going to see with those water bugs in the back, we're going to hit everybody with lit here, and the water bugs are going to use a spell called Remedy, and that's going to basically restore them to full hit points. And that's why they're so difficult to, defeat, because they'll keep restoring their hit points, and then eventually they'll run away. And I said they're worth a lot of experience, almost like 2 times as much experience as most of the other enemies in here. So it's important that you don't want to really hit them with magic, so they don't keep remedying themselves. Instead, we'll cast the hold spell on one. Now they don't use the remedy when you hit them with a physical attack, so like Rupes is good to hit him with his sword. And if they're close enough to being defeated, then Tella can use the rod. But this one's on hold, so we can use the rod. Don't have to worry about it. But that first one wasn't held, so. But yeah, that's one way you can keep them in check. So yeah, so you can learn the status spells are very important. As we play along, I'll tell enemies that are weak to statuses. So there's the Darkness Sword. I'm going to equip that. It's going to give Rupes 10 more attack power, so from 17 to 28. And more importantly, the Darkness Sword has the Dark element on it, which is good because the boss coming up is going to be weak against the darkness. There's another new enemy, the alligator. We're gonna learn something interesting about alligators. Most alligator-type monsters, they have like double attacks, so they can hit twice in a round. So if you run into a bunch of them, you want to try to get rid of them as quick as possible, because they're basically almost like 2 monsters in a row. So weak against ice, and with the ice spell, finish them off. And the pipes, we know, they're weak to lightning. And now the Rupes will be able to take them out in one hit with his increased power. So there's one more monster I want to run into here before I leave this cave. Because there's going to have a healing point outside here. We're going to have a chance to use another tent. So I'll also farm this monster right now. And this will allow me to show off the running away aspect, how you can lose money. So just get into this fight here with these toads. We run away and see you drop some money. So that's the game's way to encourage you not to run away. You can lose money, you know, and not be able to buy all the stuff that you want. So it gives you an incentive to not run away. But if you have to run away to, you know, save hit points or save resources, feel free to do so. Here we got zombies. They are weak to the undead because they're undead, so they're weak to fire and white magic, so it's cure spells. But they're strong against the dark weapons. So that's going to play an important part later on in the game. It's going to be a reason why Rupes is going to need to do class change. I'll bring that up later, but for right now, like if you run into an undead monster, Rupes is going to be basically ineffective against them. If you want him to be effective, you can have him use an item. You can use like a cure potion on the zombies and that'll deal damage, or you just take off his sword and then just have him punch. And his punch, because it's non-elemental, it'll actually do more damage than hitting them with the sword. So now I went into the menu, I took the sword and then put it in the item menu, as opposed to going to the item menu first and then pulling the sword in there, so the sword doesn't double. That glitch only works for doubling items or weapons and shields. If you go to the blank inventory space first in your items and then pull out the weapon or shield. If you go to weapon or shield first and then pull it into the item store, it doesn't double. So, but speaking of double, we got a double dosage of this dungeon. So yeah, tomorrow, next episode, we will head into this second section of the dungeon and meet with that tentacle monster that was causing Tella a lot of problems and worries. So take care, have a good one, see you in the next episode. Take care. Bye.